Hey everyone, it's Jerry McNulty, the Whistling Whittler. Are you ready to start your carving journey? Well, let's start here with the 5 basic cuts. These basic cuts will be referenced in other videos, and so make sure and get these down and practice them. Make sure you're pretty efficient with these as we move on. These will also be available as a digital download at thewhistlingwhittler.com, and this one will be a free download. So make sure you check us out there. We'll put a link in the description. So with that said, grab your knife and let's begin carving. The first cut that we're going to cover is called the push cut. Now this is the typical whittling on the end of a stick cut. In Scouts, they used to have something called a blood circle, and the kids would reach their knife out, and then 360 degrees, if you were standing in that circle, you'd probably get blood. So you had to be outside the blood circle. And the reason with that is because kids would just grab their knife and they'd fling it around, and they had no control over what they were cutting. They had no control over where the chips would fly in, and they had no control over where the tip of their knife was. We're going to do that same cut, but ours is going to be a little bit more controlled. What we're going to do is I'm going to lay my knife down on here, and I'm actually going to have 2 points of contact on my knife. So I've got my knife in this hand. I'm also going to put a finger on the back of this hand and operate it almost like shears, like cutting the hedge or trim or something like that. So I'm going to do that right here, and you'll see by doing that, I'm not trying to remove huge chips. I'm actually trying to take as thin of chips as I can, but you'll see I can cut exactly where I want to cut. The chips are not going everywhere. I have control over my knife. It's going to be pretty hard for me to cut the person sitting next to me if all I'm doing is right in front of me here. And you'll see I'm rotating the wood with this hand, so I'm just kind of pushing and rotating that wood and just taking slim chunks off. And I can go pretty fast on here. I mean, I can go real fast. I'm not trying to take off these big monster chunks. If I was to change the angle that I'm doing and push down, that's a lot of muscle, and you're going to hurt yourself that way. So just light, easy chips, and it's easier to just take thin ones than it is to take big monster chunks. So, but you'll see I can get around pretty quick doing this. Doesn't take much before I get this down to a point. So this one is called the push cut, and so this will be cut number 1. So for cut number 2, we're going to do the same thing, but this one's the opposite. This one's called the paring cut or pull cut. And for this one, it's paring cut. It's exactly what it sounds like. This is just like paring vegetables at home, where you're taking the knife and pulling it towards you. Now generally you'll want a thumb guard or something, because it's natural to use your thumb as a stopping point for that blade. It's good to just get in that habit right now to put this thumb a lot lower than that blade's coming. And so this one too, the trick is to pull and use your knuckles to roll that knife in towards you. And so that's what I'm doing. It's the same thing. I'm taking very thin chunks and I'm rolling that towards me. And it doesn't take much again to take a bunch of wood off in a hurry. And you can start building that muscle in your hand and really get some movement here and get a lot of wood down in a big hurry. Now it's important to really think about why you would use this technique over the push cut that we just learned. And generally what happens is that would be the grain. The grain goes on one direction, maybe on one side of your carving, and it goes on the other way on the other side. And so you'll have to either turn your piece upside down and carve, or come from it from a different direction, which is why you'll have to rotate between push cut and pull cut. So those are those 2 basic cuts. The third cut I'm going to teach you is called a stop cut. So we have a lot of fibers and a lot of grain. It's almost like little straws that go through the wood here. And if I was to put my knife in here and just put it through, it pretty much slides all the way out and goes out the end of the wood. Well, that's not going to work if I want to put some detail and stuff up here. I want my knife to stop where I want it to stop. So all I'm doing is pretty much scoring a line where I want it to stop, and I'm pushing that in there. And that way, when I come back here, it's going to stop exactly where that cut is. Now, then again, I don't want to try to go as deep as I need to in one pass. I might come and deepen a little more and then take a little bit more out till I get to the depth that I want to hit. So that would be my stop cut, and then I'm going to remove the material from the side that I want to be lower. So if like this was a hat or something, I want this to be raised, I do that stop cut, remove the material on the bottom, and then that makes this more pronounced than this. So that's called a stop cut. And you can do the same thing. I did that stop cut with the center of my knife, which is a lot better than the tip. I try to avoid using the tip. That way I make sure and not bend it or break it or things like that. This center of the blade is better. Sometimes you can't avoid it. If I want to do a stop cut that has some curve or design to it, I might use my knife, and all I'm doing is really just scoring that. And there's a circle there, or half circle, and then I can use my knife to remove that material. But I got to be very careful when I do this, because it's easy to put that tip of that knife past where my stop cut is. So I've got to be aware of where that knife tip is at all times. But that's called a stop cut right there. The next cut I'm going to show you is called a V cut, and it's similar to a stop cut, only instead of removing material from this side, we're going to remove the material from both sides, creating a V in the center. There's a quick couple ways to do this. On a corner, all I have to do is just come in from one direction, come in from the other direction, meet where the first cut stopped, and there you go. I got a nifty little triangle there. In the center here, I might do my stop cut, score it in the center. I remove the material from this side, and I can almost hear it click when it hits that stop cut. I'm going to clean out that chip. I'm going to come around, turn this around, come from the other side, push in here, and that just created that stop cut there. So you can see my small V in the profile there. So that's the third cut. That will be called it will actually be four, because we got our push cut, our pull cut, our stop cut, and our triangle cut. Last cut that I'm going to demonstrate is something called a chip cut. And this is just one aspect of another type of carving, which is called chip carving. But we'll use this a lot for whittling and different things, so I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate it. And with this, I'm going to just draw a triangle. I'm not worried about having it equal or anything like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove that center section. And the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to stab my knife in here and do a stop cut on all three sides. Now what I'm doing is I'm angling my knife towards the center here, so that when I do all those stop cuts, this triangle in the middle should lift out. And this takes a little bit of practice to get it right. It doesn't always happen, and every time I demonstrate it, I think 80% I'll get it right, and 20% it has to be cleaned up afterwards, but it can be cleaned up. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to guide with my finger. I'm going to push this knife in here. When I get towards the end of that cut, I'm going to rotate my blade up a little bit so it stops exactly on that point and doesn't go underneath or past underneath the wood where I can't see it. I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to do the exact same thing on this chip here. I'm rotating my blade up. And I'm sorry if you can't see this on the camera, but and same thing here. And hear that click? It just popped right out of there. And I've got this nifty little cleanup to do, but nifty little triangle in the center of my block here. So, and that is it. Those are the 5 basic cuts that we're going to demonstrate. If you would like the free PDF download of this, go to thewhistlingwhistler.com under downloads, and you'll be able to reference this. And this is something that you should practice, because every single type of carving this is demonstrated. I mean, I can take any type of carving. I've got one here, and even when you look at all this hair, those are V cuts. Underneath this nose, we did a stop cut. The eyes are all stop cuts. This is a stop cut, and we removed the material against it. Every single thing here, you can point out those 5 cuts. We used a pull cut to do this leg. Used a push cut to do this leg. V cut here on the shoes. But these are types of projects that we're going to do. We're going to apply those cuts to this. We're going to probably start out a little slower and do something a little bit more basic. But within a couple months here, this is where we'll be getting really quick. So thank you for joining me. If you're just brand new, go ahead and subscribe. This is video number 1, so this is a good start for you. But look forward to seeing from you. If you have any comments, please leave them below. I'm not the young guy with the expert video knowledge, so this is a learning curve for me. But hopefully we'll get there and improve as we go along. But thank you for joining, everybody. This is the Whittling Whistler. Have a good time.